Hello everyone and welcome to the OPNFV Colorado release presentation brought to you by CENGN. I am Rick Penwarden and I'm part of the marketing team here, and I want to introduce you guys to how OPNFV released their Colorado initiative. So if we move forward here, I just want to briefly touch on the CENGN team and how OPNFV and CENGN have built such a strong connection. So CENGN was actually the first associate member of OPNFV, and we noticed how OPNFV fosters innovation in NFV and has a strong open networking mandate. And we knew that this would create a connection between our companies because we have such similar organizations and mission statements. So on this slide, you can see a bunch of different projects that we've actually collaborated on. Joyd, StorePerf, and most recently the Pharos lab. And we left a link for you to check out some of the information about CENGN's own and Canada's first ever community Pharos lab. We also are very integrated with our marketing teams, and that's why we do presentations like these, very interesting technical webinars, and present at the OPNFV Summit. If you were there, you might have noticed us presenting and doing a lot of cool little things. So yeah, just something that is very interesting about our two companies or organizations. I also want to show a very cool thing that OPNFV does, and that is their student internships. Last semester we had 3 student interns, and I want to showcase their different projects that they did at CENGN. So we had Tim Rolt from France, who actually worked on the StorePerf project, and we had Zara Jihadi, who worked on Joyd charm bundles. And then also we had Daniel Tuderes working on the Pharos lab. And you can actually check out his technical webinar on our technical webinar series screen, and we're going to show you how to get to there at the end. So you can see me on the right here, Rick Penwarden, the marketing specialist, but I'm not the star today. The star today is our presenter, Aarti, who is the intern right now at CENGN, and she is right now taking her master's degree in engineering at Carleton University. I'm going to hand it over to her. She's a great student. She's been working on this presentation to let you guys know about the Colorado release.
Thank you very much, Rick, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. This is Aarti, and I'm going to present the Colorado release. That's the 3rd release of OPNFV. It's also called C release. Before actual start the Colorado discussion, I would like to start this presentation with the normal discussion of OPNFV. So what exactly is OPNFV? OPNFV is an open platform for network function virtualization. It is an open source platform which has given an open access to service provider, cloud and network infrastructure, and also the end users to create their code freely and to test their code and then compose them and deploy in the NFVI infrastructure to meet up with their requirements at the NFVI infrastructure. So OPNFV has built a foundation for users to deploy NFVI. So it is actually assembling a platform for NFV. So this is the 3rd release of OPNFV introduction, is also called the C release. It builds on foundation laid by Arno and Brahmaputra. So basically it is defining the more improvement in terms of core feature enhancement, in terms of networking enhancement in the NFVI infrastructure. So this release is showing OPNFV's continuous effort towards carrier applications and service integration. During the Colorado release, OPNFV has made tremendous collaboration with the upstream communities to further make NFVI more mature. And it is showing with the adoption and integration of FD.io community in the OPNFV environment to enhance more features in NFV infrastructure. Also, this release is comprises with a number of scenarios that can be extended with the collaboration of upstream projects. So that we are going to discuss about what features OPNFV has brought to its user in terms of Colorado release. So before starting the actual discussion of Colorado features, let's have a look on release schedule. So here you can see the project planning was completed in the month of April this year, and they have set a lot of milestones to be completed before they can achieve the stage where they can release the first version of Colorado. So the milestones were in terms of scenario definition, installation tool definition, and also in terms of testing environment setup. So they have passed through all these milestones, and finally in the month of September this year, they released the first version of Colorado called 1.0 on 22nd September this year. But officially this release was available on the website to be downloaded on 26th September. Now further the team is working towards further two very important milestone, I must say, that's a 2.0 and 3.0, to add more features in Colorado version 1.0. The testing and documentation on these releases have been completed in the month of October 24th, and they are going to be out the second version of Colorado, that's 2.0, that's going to be out very soon, maybe today or maybe tomorrow. And further the team is working for the testing environment enhancement for 3.0 release, which is going to be out in the month of November this year. And it's officially will be available on the website in the month of December this year. So before starting the feature enhancement in Colorado, I would like to introduce the differences between release architecture to have a clear picture of the platform architecture differences in the successive releases of OPNFV. So just have a look on the first figure that is actually showing the basic platform structure of OPNFV, and I must say that it is a pictorial view of OPNFV's initial notion to be make is as a project. OPNFV took a shape as a project in the month of in the year 2014, and the initial notion was not to create a bunch of code. It was not to create an open platform for users. Rather, the initial notion was to club all the overlapping projects together and make the NFVI infrastructure more enhanced to bring those upstream projects across the network, storage, and compute node. And OPNFV's target was to make more integration and more testing feature enhancements for the continuous integration in NFVI infrastructure, and that is clearly understood with this first image. And after its continuous effort with the collaboration with the upstream community, it is able to give the first release in the month of June last year, and that's called Arno release or the A release. As you can see here, it built various open upstream components like OpenDelight, OpenStack, Ceph, OVS, KVM across compute, storage, and network nodes. And also along with the tremendous change in terms of infrastructure by building the Pharos community labs and OPNFV bare metal lab, which is run by the Linux Foundation. And with the help of all these upstream components, OPNFV was able to build continuous integration and continuous deployment in terms of functional testing or in terms of new feature enhancement in the basic platform structure. So after with the collaboration with more upstream components, OPNFV was successfully released its B release. It's called a second release. That's a Brahmaputra release. And as you can see in this image, more upstream projects have been added across network node. That's OVS, ONOS, and OpenControl. And also the enhancement in the data plane was made by the OPNFV first time with the help of Brahmaputra release. That's with the DPDK and ODP upstream components in the data plane environment. And all these components helping to update integration, testing, and new features like IPv6, service function chaining, L3 VPN across the NFVI environment. And now the latest release of OPNFV, that's called C release or the Colorado release, with more collaboration with the upstream components, and also with the help of data plane acceleration with the fd.io, which is the most important part of this release. Just have a clear look of OPNFV Colorado release. So here you can see the main component that have been added in the platform are the fd.io, OVS, then the vendor-free environment in terms of Pharos community labs, and the most important is security that have been added. So all these features we are going to discuss in this presentation. So OPNFV has clubbed 5 categories in terms of advancement and improvements in Colorado release. The first is core feature enhancement, then is the testing enhancement, infrastructure and testing environment enhancement, community process engagement, and efficient network forwarding. And we are going to discuss about what features have been added across all these categories. The first is the Colorado feature enhancement in the core. So the core feature enhancement is basically defined in terms of security, IPv6 deployment, service function chaining, virtual private network capability, and multiple hardware activity support in NFVI infrastructure. So it includes the integration with the more upstream components to bring functional features across the NFVI, and also enhancing the automated install, deploy, and testing framework for NFVI environment. So the first feature that has been added under the core feature enhancement is the security. Security is one of the key area of concern, but it is rarely addressed in virtualization space. It is very essential feature nowadays, specifically when we talk about cloud computing technology in NFVI. So everybody is talking about open source environment, so definitely security is one of the issue which is needed to be engaged with the NFVI environment. So OPNFV has build some projects and some processes under the NFVI environment to enhance the security in natural function virtualization environment. So various processes like security scanning for continuous integration and continuous deployment is one of the very important process that OPNFV has brought with Colorado release. It is using NIST-based SCAP protocol to find out known CVE vulnerability to meet with the security compliance level for the NFVI infrastructure. Also, OPNFV has built one process that's called OPNFV Security Vulnerability Management, and which is basically scanning the different vulnerabilities in OPNFV ecosystem, which is mainly comprises with network virtualization, SDN controller, OpenStack, and virtual storage, and also find out this some issues in the upstream projects to deal with, to have the enhanced security activities under the NFV infrastructure. Also, OPNFV Security Working Group is working towards security guidance and the secure design to help users how to make secure coding for their NFV infrastructure. I would like to mention here that OPNFV has released 12 patches for the security in the Colorado release. With the tremendous effort of Security Working Group of OPNFV, it was able to achieve Core Infrastructure Initiative Badge, which is basically a project that is managed by Linux Foundation, which enables technical company, industry stakeholder, and the developers to collaboratively work on security. So OPNFV has achieved this badge because it has completed his 100% best practices for the security aspects for the NFVI infrastructure. This slide is showing the security related news and blogs, and it is actually showing that how all the industries in today's network are worrying for the security. There are organizations like ST, Amazon, Google, and Center for Internet Security. They worked in one or different ways to achieve security for the NFV infrastructure. And because of this fashion of achieving security in the infrastructure, OPNFV has built a platform to enhance the security in the NFVI infrastructure, and that is the great news for all the developers and for all the operators and service provider who are planning to enhance the cloud application in their NFVI environment. So next feature under the core feature enhancement is the service function chaining. So service function chaining is also one of the very important capability of NFV deployment, and this is enhanced during the Colorado release with the collaboration of Open Daylight and OPNFV. I have mentioned here one white paper that is actually showing the collaborative work of OPNFV and Open Daylight, and it is showing the virtualization of customer premises with service function chaining. With the Colorado release, the service function chaining is now capable of deploying on different nodes and controller, which was not available during the Brahmaputra release. So this is a very good aspects of Colorado release to enhance the service function chaining in the NFV environment. The third core feature enhancement feature is the IPv6 deployment. As many service providers are moving towards IPv6 only deployment, so the OPNFV has brought further improvement in IPv6 support in NFV infrastructure. So now the IPv6 deployment is available for full underlay and overlay support with the help of more enhanced installation tools like Apex in the Colorado release. Next, we have the virtual private network. As we know that virtual private network is always one of the important concept when we talk about interconnectivity between NFV infrastructure and the wide area network. So with the help of SDN VPN project enhancement in the Colorado release, VPN is now enable full layer 2 and layer 3 along with the BGP pairing. And it is actually showing the NFVI networking services enhancement in the network function virtualization for the users. Next enhancement under the core feature advancement is the vendor-free environment for all the users. So OPNFV has brought this support with a multiple hardware platform which is fully integrated with the OPNFV automated testing and DevOps infrastructure. So all these core feature enhancement is actually making the NFVI environment more mature for the users. Next feature under the Colorado release is the testing enhancement. Colorado offers more choices and testing capabilities by increasing the number of possible scenarios from 24 to 40 plus. It's almost 42. I would like to mention here that the naming convention for the scenario, it is the same as per the previous releases of OPNFV. It's defining the virtual infrastructure manager platform like a OpenStack. Then we have to define the SDN controller like Open Daylight, ONOS, Open Control. Then the feature is need to be defined in the scenario. For example, you want to bring a service function chaining in your infrastructure, or you want to bring a virtual private network enhancement in your infrastructure, and then according to the requirement of the number of nodes required in the NFVI, you have to define highly available or no highly available, that's HA and no HA. So OPNFV scenario is actually providing users to select components and to select features as per the NFVI infrastructure. So this is the actually showing the testing enhancement in the Colorado release by increasing the number of scenarios, as I've mentioned already. The third feature is the infrastructure and testing environment advancement. So with the third release of OPNFV, the infrastructure working group and the testing working group has put their continuous effort to bring infrastructure and testing environment advancement in the OPNFV environment. So many new labs like Nokia and CENGN, they are coming online to give their physical environment to users for the continuous integration and testing purposes. And this is making a groundwork for the lab as a service project of OPNFV and making its users to engage with these labs to enhance their testing availability over the NFVI environment. So the Pharos test lab projects includes tools for validation across Pharos specification, and Colorado release is basically building a variety of hardware environment to helping users to have a chance to play with these hardware lab as per the testing perspective. Next is the community process enhancement. So during the OPNFV, as I've mentioned earlier, that OPNFV is making its collaboration with more upstream communities to enhance the more feature in NFV infrastructure. There are a number of communities that I have listed over here, like OpenStack, OpenDelight, OpenPlane, Data Plane Development Kit, FT.io, OpenVSwitch, ONOS, KVM, Open Data Plane, and OpenControl. All of these communities are the main player during the Colorado release, and any enhancement in these respective communities make changes in the OPNFV collaboration, and further OPNFV make changes in the NFV performances and in NFV infrastructure to give more advanced feature to its user. Also, OPNFV launched its intern program during Colorado release for collaborating academia in the OPNFV environment. And OPNFV interns are making tremendous efforts towards the OPNFV projects to make more enhancement in NFV infrastructure. Now, the next feature enhancement in the Colorado release is the efficient network forwarding. As we know that the network function virtualization and virtualized high performance application such as video processing requires fast data stack, and this laid collaboration between OPNFV and FT.io project to enhance the forwarding performance and scalability in the NFV infrastructure. OPNFV has used scenarios that has been made by FT.io project. I have given an example of one of such scenario, which is using Apex as an installer, OS as a virtual infrastructure manager, and ODL as a SDN controller. And feature is the FT.io, which means that here we are using virtual packet processor as a software forwarder to provide enhanced carrier-grade forwarding performance in NFV-VI. And this composing solution of stack was presented by Mr. Frank Brockner, who is a distinguished engineer at Cisco, and Mr. Michael Weir, who is a vice president of CENGN, at the Open Daylight Summit, which was held in the month of September, Washington. And they presented a composing solution of stack, that is a fast data stack with Open Daylight and OpenStack in OPNFV. So in conclusion, I would like to say that the third release of OPNFV is actually its continuous effort towards career application and service integration. It has given a groundwork for different organizations to be the part of OPNFV and work towards more enhancement in NFV infrastructure environment. It is also provide virtual network function onboarding and increased continuous integration and continuous deployment integration. Also, the Colorado release has made certain groups to work on with the management and network orchestration layer to enhance various features for the upcoming releases. And I must say that Colorado release is actually an indication that the collaboration is the central theme of OPNFV nowadays. And because of its tremendous collaboration with different organizations, now there are almost 51 companies. They are the members of OPNFV under category Platinum, Silver, and Associate members. So OPNFV itself says that it is not possible without the support of all of these companies. So what's next after C release? So obviously OPNFV is working towards its next release, and that is called D release, or it's called the new release. And I would like to mention here that OPNFV is following its alphabetical order to giving name its successive releases, and also the river-based naming system. So the fourth release of OPNFV, that's called D release, and it's going to be out in the month of March next year. And they have mentioned almost 40 projects that are intended to be the part of this release. And the interesting part over here is that there are some of the projects which were not the part of C release, and now they are going to be the part of D release, like Opera, Qtip, and VES. So OPNFV is now working towards bringing more features for users in NFVI infrastructure. And everybody is like me is eager to watch OPNFV progress in future as time goes on. So here are the list of all abbreviations that have been used in this presentation. And thanks to all these references from which I collected material to make this presentation more informative. And here is some links with which you can connect with OPNFV, as it is an open project for everyone. So there are some free node IRC channel name and the mailing list with which you can contribute, and you can ask question over there to be the participant with the OPNFV. Thank you very much for watching this presentation.
Thanks, Aarti. That's fascinating stuff. It was great to hear about all the Colorado releases, all the great new advancements that OPNFV has brought. And also, thank you, OPNFV, for giving us the opportunity to showcase everything that's cool that's going on. I just wanted to quickly show you guys that you could access these slides. There's some links in them that you can click on. So just go ahead to our technical webinar series page. It's under the resources button. You can see that in the picture. And while you're there, you could check out a lot of our different other cool videos. Like I said, we touched on the Pharos lab. We have our own technical webinar series with one of our other interns on that, and several other different videos that are very cool. Thank you guys all for listening. Thank you, Aarti. Thank you, OPNFV.